it's who you mill with, and that that confusion, that kind of area.
Stay away from accounting.
It's like when you're in an office. Anybody listening to this knows full well when the fire alarm goes off in your building, you don't get up.
Everybody stares at each
Nobody
other.
moves.
Yeah.
I was at my manager's office once, 20th floor, the fire alarm went off, and I ran down all 20 flights of stairs. I came all the way back up. They're like, it was just a false alarm. Dude. I'm like, maybe it was.
Yeah, you got to do it.
What I really like about Sam Sheridan's writing, my listener friend, is, it's a book about surviving disasters, but you really leave no stone unturned. Like, you're doing research about the mental faculty of Holocaust prisoners and prisoners in the camps. And you write that 90% of the people in the death camps, the newcomers, were the ones that died because they just didn't accept what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, this guy Terence Desprez wrote a great book where he sort of did a psychology. He was a sociologist in the 70s. Did this sort of this profile of what a survivor of the concentration camps and of the Soviet Gulag, those prison systems, were their sort of similarities, and that adjustment period was your supremely vulnerable period. And that would be the same if World War Z happens, if there's a zombie apocalypse. You know what I mean? Which is what, hey, listen, man, everybody watches that show and everybody knows those movies and stuff. And it's like, it's silly, but it's also, if you can adjust to that, if you can have the mental agility to kind of see the world has changed and not be hung up on your stuff and your job that is no longer there, or your bank account that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? That's a hard thing to do. And you think about my friend of mine who was his grandfather.
That was quick.
Got his his great grandfather his grandfather got his parents out of Germany. They were Jews 2 weeks before. The Nazis closed the border to all Jews. He got out 2 weeks before. And you think about, when do you know it's time to go, right? When do you have the awareness to walk away from your business?
Hitler mustache is a good start.
Yeah.
Hitler mustache.
Well, they were saying it, but it's so hard to do.
They're going, it's a Chaplin mustache. Relax. Let's hear what he thinks about economics. You had to learn how to steal cars in this book, The Disaster Diaries?
Yeah, that was interesting. That was pretty interesting.
Have you ever stolen a car, Uncle Dan?
No.
Do you think you could?
Oh, yeah, I could steal a car. I think.
How?
Well, you kind of, just like you said, you crack the thing open and just turn it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that easy? It took him an hour. Sam Sheridan.
Yeah. No, it took the other guy an hour.
No, it took us.
It took the Mexican.
It might take him a little while, but it's not. But I think you can't steal a car. I mean, actually, we talked to somebody at like Auto and Track today, or somebody about it. I think, it's like anything after 2002. It's much harder. There's a lot more. There's chips in the keys, and there's electrical shutoffs and all kinds.
It's different
of
now.
Yeah, you're not going to go steal a Prius. It's never going to happen.
I'd get a guy who's idling right there, and I'd say they're giving free water over there. Just leave it running. I'll watch it for you.
There you go.
And I'd just jump in and be out
National
of there.
Guard
Wouldn't
truck.
even have to worry about any of that.
We're out of here.
Stuff.
But why did
Swing
you
by your house?
See you later.
Guard truck.
Why?
Jay, come on.
Why? And I'll be like, how'd you steal a Prius? Kiki's lunch truck. You guys, you know what? That's what you're doing in the podcast.
Those people will survive for 6 months.
Yeah.
The lunch truck people will steal. They'll just drive around
In style.
with silverware and plates. What part of you, when you're writing a book about how to survive a natural or unnatural disaster, makes you say, "Hey, I'm gonna pick up a Vato and we're gonna go steal cars"?
That was more just because it happens in every disaster movie, like every Terminator movie, they're always stealing cars all the time. And I think
3 seconds too. It's always just it's big fun.
But it is fun to think about what you would do. I mean, the city without any people in it or any cops in it, it's like there's something kind of exciting about it. And I actually got into it a little bit at one point, but I think it's a fun thought experiment. Well, just there's a Freudian term called Das Unheimlich, which is like,
all right, Harvard.
It's like the uncanny.
He speaks German.
It's
too.
the uncanny, right? So like a doll is cute, And then if it looks more like a person, it gets weird. You know what I mean? If it's like a wax, there's a point where things become too human and they get scary. And I think the city
It's sitting on my
has
right.
the eyes of the city looking at you. But also you can go anywhere. You can do anything. There's no rules. The
Oh, you mean like in an empty city?
Yeah.
It's a playground of fun, and then it gets super spooky.
There's something fun about it, right? You'd be like kind of delighted. You can break all the rules, and it's
like sneaking into your high school at night.
Yeah.
But then it gets creepy.
And then it gets creepy.
Yeah.
When it's all the empty windows
And that's
are
what they
staring
call
at you.
Kugelschreiber. What is it?
Das ein Humlach.
Volkswagen.
Ein Humlach. Something like that. I wrote it down.
You you really exhaust yourself. You go to these survival camps. How long was the one you went to with that guy Cody? Uncle Dan, by the way, has been telling me about this Cody guy.
Oh,
and I've
Cody
never seen
Lundeen.
him.
He's
didn't
good,
believe
man.
me. He didn't believe me.
Cody's the man, dude.
Yeah, he's cool.
I just watched his new show, and they're like, God damn, Cody's so much better than everybody else.
He's got a new guy on there.
Yeah.
Too. I wonder what happened to the other guy. Did he die?
No, I think there was.
Wouldn't be too good for the show.
I think there
in
was.
memory of.
I think there actually was a. There was one of those stolen valor issues actually with that.
Really?
Guy. I don't know.
Stolen valor?
Well, apparently he might have been saying he was a special forces and he wasn't, or who knows? I don't know. This
Allegedly,
is all
who
hearsay.
knows? Yeah.
Allegedly,
You're
there was
covered.
something
You're
like
covered.
that. But yeah, the new guy's a special forces guy, and I just saw him drink his own piss, and Cody's like, "What are you doing, dude? Don't drink your own piss because it's terrible. It's like it's way too salty. There's a reason you're peeing it out, right? You can't use it, but he does it.
I think you just pee it out because you're full.
No. You're getting rid of nitrogenous wastes and all this stuff.
But
It's
if you're dying,
never
of,
drink seawater. See, if you start drinking
That
seawater,
we know.
you'll die.
yeah,
You'll die
miles and
horribly.
miles of water, not a drop to drink.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
will die. You'll go
Water
mad. And you'll
everywhere.
go insane.
Yeah.
But with pee, drinking piss, I always thought like if you're absolutely dying of thirst, can it sustain you for like an extra 24 hours?
I think it's worse.
Can you? Isn't there some way to strain it out? I saw one of
Well,
those
you-
survival shows where a guy strained it through something.
You could probably
plastic,
strain it,
something.
or you
Who's
could-
walking through the desert with a fucking strainer?
Or you know what they have
found
stills? They
one.
have these. They have little solar stills, right? Which are like a black, rubber thing, and it'll evaporate inside and then trickle down the outside and collect.
Yeah, that's what this
And
guy
so then
did
it's
with a
pure
plastic
water
thing.
on the outside,
So
and
you
that's
turned your pee into water?
into drinking water. Yeah.
Do you know how much water I would have in this house if my pee turned into water?
Probably
I
a
pee
gallon
like
a day.
Well, you can get really good filters too. I would recommend. They're online. You can get tons of good filters. You should have water purification. But listen, if you live in LA, and look at what happened in Hurricane Sandy, like just have it in your house. Be able to camp out in your house for 3 weeks. Because you just make your life so much easier. You probably won't. I don't think anybody will die. Hurricane Sandy. But let the emergency services handle the guys who need it, and then you can just chill, and certainly.
Why did you go to stuntman school for driving?
Well, I want to be able to Mad Max it up. You know what I mean? If I have to run from the motorcycle gangs, I wanted to be able to bust.
Yeah, that was a
180s
question.
and stuff.
Matty Boy and I put it on the table for him after I read your book, and I loved everybody that lives in Malibu or Topanga Canyon. They all have 4x4s because they think after the tsunami hits, when the water kind of ebbs back, they're going to take their 4x4s down the beach to the marina and steal boats.
Yeah.
And you said what they don't understand is that there's going to be an armada of boats under the water blocking your way out of the marina.
Yeah, well, it could be. It could. It's just don't have that. I just talked to somebody else who that was their plan. Nobody knows this. What I'm going to do is go to the marina and steal a boat. That's everybody's plan.
So then he's part of the problem too.
motherfucker I
He's
talk to-
stealing shit.
Well, not necessarily, but the problem is there's thousands of people who live in the marina and they all own boats, and they're not going to let you take. They're going to be trying to leave on their boat. If you get on a boat and there's somebody on it, are you going to kill them now? And also in 6 months when order's restored,
Yeah.
it's going to be Nuremberg, dude. They're going to try you for that stuff. You know what I mean?
Uncle Dan, what's your doomsday scenario? What have you? I know you've given this thought. If it's the end of days, it's a nuclear war, and we're living in a nuclear winter. Everything's flattened out. You're alone in the valley. You're the sole survivor. What do you do?
Oh man, I don't know. Just get the hell out of there.
Where, go to
I'm
Fridays?
live in the valley, so I don't think I have to worry about tsunamis because I think the Santa Monica Mountains will block it
Oh,
up.
yeah,
So I'm not
you're
worried
all right.
about that.
All right, well, hold
Earthquakes,
on.
maybe.
You're fine.
Zombies.
Let's ask the experts.
Zombies. Well,
Is he okay? Is he in the clear?
good. He's in the
Did
clear.
you know he's terrified of tidal waves?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one.
They're
That's the
scary.
the one thing I don't mind: earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, nuclear war.
Dude, how was that Fukushima footage, man? I could watch that all day.
that's scary.
I could
as
watch
hell.
that all day.
It's scary as hell.
What, water, tidal waves smashing into nuclear reactors?
Just that whole Japanese tsunami thing.
But
No,
why is Uncle
stuff
Dan
is
afraid of
washing up
tidal
everywhere.
waves?
It's riveting,
Because
dude.
when I was a little kid, my dad and this other carpenter, Joe Hickey, were building a cottage down at Misquamicut Beach. And a tidal wave hit Misquamicut in Rhode Island.
No
Tidal
way.
wave hit Misquamicut Beach. This must have been like 54, 53. And we go down there the next weekend, and the cottage was okay, but it kind of ripped the front patio porch off and like moved it down the street. But they kept saying this tidal wave was as tall as a telephone pole, and showing me all the shit that was all over the place. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It scared the hell out of me.
So in the San Fernando Valley, you're still afraid of tidal waves, or just when you come over to the west side?
He
Just
just
when
said
I
he
come
wasn't.
over
He's
the west.
fine with
Hey,
it.
listen, I know where every tsunami escape route is on Pacific Coast Highway. When
Me
I'm
too.
doing appraisals in
Channel,
in Malibu,
Chautauqua,
yeah,
Temescal.
They can run up the hills.
It's
Yeah.
really weird. You know what I like is the sign that says "You're now safe. Don't worry." Like, really?
Really?
You
Yeah.
put a post up where Mother Nature's going to end at the end of days?
not if we get hit by a meteorite and you have one of those half a mile or mile
Yeah,
high
that's not
tidal
gonna
waves.
work out.
That's it.
Then you'll be flooded out in the valley. There's
That's
your
right.
scenario.
Exactly. If it's
The-
It'll
a
go right
meteor-
over Topanga
Only
Canyon.
in
man.
the East Valley. I think the West Valley will be okay where I live. So.
Earthquakes is his big thing in the valley,
Sure.
right?
Oh yeah.
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 What's the biggest survival thing when that 9 hits?
Well,
and the 9 is
they don't-
coming.
They're not. No. The big one. They're.
I'm just trying to scare
Listen,
him.
the projections
We
I
got a
read,
14 on the horizon here.
the projections that I heard were like 7.8 to a 8.3. That's what like shake
That's
out.
bad.
That's what they sort of think is and that's just it's
And
bad.
Northridge was a 6.8, 6.9.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
But again,
Wow.
it's gonna be it's a lot bigger. But and it's bad, but it's not like millions of people are gonna die instantly and all that stuff. Buildings will come down. A lot of stuff will happen, but there won't be food. It's not. There's not gonna be sewage, and there's not gonna be power, and there's not gonna be water for not just L.A. but San Diego and the whole Southern California.
Where
So
do
it's 30
people,
million people. It's
30 million?
30, 35. Who knows what?
if there's a nuclear thing or if there's the end of days with a giant earthquake, where do people poop and pee? What do you do? How do you?
Yeah, that's the
How?
trick.
Can your
I'm
neighbors
asking
Listen,
you.
what
expert
kills more
guy.
people than anything is sanitation. Dysentery.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Or
dysentery.
guys that work for the sanitation department,
that too.
the legitimate businessmen.
I
Where?
thought you were talking about serial killers. Like,
What's
yeah,
the number one thing? Like, I'm sorry. How do you go about shitting and pissing in the end of the world scenario?
Oh, that's
You
the
just
trick.
dig a hole
You
and
dig a
shit.
hole and you move it around. You do like the old outhouse and you move it. Or
Now
if
you need more water. You got to wash your ass.
Yeah,
as
you gotta
Red
wash
Fox
your
said.
ass. Well, you gotta wash your hands. Dysentery.
Hemp.
You'll
Why?
kill
You can
'cause
use
you're gonna
hemp
get
for
shit on your
toilet paper, I
food and
think.
you'll die, dude.
Why would I get
Dysentery.
shit on my food? I shit in a hole.
Yeah, but if you wipe your ass or whatever,
I'm gonna wipe my ass on my hands,
what are you wiping it with?
my socks.
My buddy used to take
No
a crap in the
problem
woods,
there.
use his underwear, and throw the underwear away.
Yeah,
I've
no,
done
that's
that.
gonna, that's gonna
I
work
was
out.
It only
hammered.
works once.
I'll
a
never
night,
do
though.
that. You can use pine cones.
1994,
Oh.
the Northridge earthquake was
6.7 magnitude.
a 6.7 was the Northridge earthquake.
7.9 happened in 1857.
1857.
So yeah, they think they're on a 150-year cycle with that. So 1857. So we're overdue.
Wow. I want to read you a passage from your book. You were hunting elk. Where were you hunting elk?
Southern Colorado.
Okay. And I want to read this to you. Finally, we approach, or this is after you, all right. Don and I walked over to where I first hit her, then tried to track the blood spots to where she fell. It was extraordinarily difficult. Don only found a few spots of blood, and even with him pointing, I could barely see them. Faint red dots, maybe a centimeter across, sprinkled on a single aspen leaf the size of a silver dollar. She hadn't bled much. Don speculated on the various things that could have happened between the two shots. Of course, you might have missed her with the second shot. She just fell down at that exact moment. That's happened before. Now, here's where it gets a little weird. Finally, we approached the elk. A massive, burly, beautiful animal. Her stomach was as huge and round as a fur-covered barrel. And I walked in amazement around and around, reveling in the touch, the feel, pressing her hooves with my fingers, looking into her eyes, her long velvet ears, her wide mouth. I sat by her and rubbed her fur. Did you fuck this elk?
That's so funny. I'd never even read that. like that. That's hilarious.
I
will say
understand
this.
what you're doing.
No.
Literarily, it's a beautiful thing. Like you felled this like almost majestic beast, and you're just appreciating it. But it does read like the next thing you did, and then we
It's like a
jacked
Penthouse
off
Forum.
on her back. She was dead. What was she
You
gonna
just
do?
ruined it for me. You ruined the whole thing. No, you know what's interesting though is I always think about why like guys have antlers on their walls, and it's like it's not about like having antlers on your walls. It's about like you were this close to something